when Meghan recently was in Nigeria, it was a funny thing, wasn't it? Because if you recall, she spoke about being strong, independent, forceful women, that sort of stuff. And that's really the image that Meghan Markle would seemingly like to put out to the rest of the world. A very powerful woman who wants her seat at the table, wants to be able to have her peace. And that was part of the problem, as we all know, as to why she never truly fitted inside the British monarchy. But even Meghan Markle, so it appears, has a touch of the green-eyed monster. And there's certain areas of her life that, well, if you mention that particular instance, well, things could take a turn for the worst. But it's fascinating to find out that even Meghan has a moment where, well, things could explode. As ever, let me explain. Hi, lovely to see you. Thank you so much for your time today. And as ever, nice to have your company. Welcome one and all brand new subscribers. Glad you enjoyed the recent video about the brilliant comic actor Arthur Lowe. And somebody wrote in the comments, oh, don't forget Father, Dear Father. And I thought, no, I remember that. It's brilliant, wasn't it? There's so many things, other roles that he undertook, of course. But he was kind of just known, really, wasn't he, as Captain Manwaring, or Mannering, as we all called him. And the thing is, it's just that sort of definitive role that you can never really forget. And I'm sure he tried many different things, but if the one role sticks with you and the public like you, it's a bit like the brilliant David Jason in Only Fools and Horses, or Sue Pollard in Heidi High. That's the definitive, isn't it? That's the thing that sticks. Nothing wrong with that, though, is there? Something that does stick, of course, for the former royal known as Meghan Markle, some people might suggest, is this, the green-eyed monster. Now, as we told you recently, Prince Harry's back, talking, of course, about his biggest problems, the hacking trial and all that sort of stuff. And as you know from last year's appearances in court, there was one sort of predominant feature in there, and that was his former flame, the very nice, I briefly met her, Chelsea Daly. I thought she was a lovely lady and could have done a lot for the British monarchy, but her prerogative, her choice, didn't want to be part of the royal family. And perhaps now we see the bigger picture, of course, with Prince Harry. Maybe there's more behind the scenes that we didn't know about, that she wasn't prepared to undertake. Always tricky, isn't it? But you see, when you think about it, nobody likes to be reminded of ex-paramours, and there he was on the world stage talking about how basically the tabloid had ruined his relationship, speculating to many that perhaps this was the relationship that got away. Harry's words, that's the problem, isn't it? But according to a well-placed source, there is something that Meghan Markle feels very strongly about. You guess where I'm going. What's interesting was that apparently they're very much personal and finalised. You could call it, say, a home video of their wedding. Features, as you can imagine, all the glittering moments, the choir, Meghan being walked down half the aisle by the Prince of Wales, as then was now King Charles III. But when you see all the arrivals like Oprah Winfrey, the cast of Suits, George Clooney, two people should I say, that are missing. Yes, that is allegedly Chelsea Davy and her husband. Now, as we know, Prince Harry insisted upon her attendance. That was the one thing that he really put his foot down about. Apparently there was a bit of, shall we say, contra about it, but he won out in the end. He felt this was paramount, that she should be there on this big day. And she duly obliged and looked beautiful and did exactly what was required, and has kept a low profile since. Now, apparently Meghan goes absolutely potty at the mere mention of this particular lady's name. Yes, and so she doesn't feature in the, shall we say, home video version of their wedding. I kid you not, and again, allegedly. But what's interesting here is the fact that, Harry could throw back all of Meghan's ex-paramours, and apparently there were quite a few, a former husband, quite a few dates, a chef in Toronto. Let's put it this way, Meghan's been no Cinderella. But seemingly, of course, to keep the peace, even Harry, well, apparently had to cut out Chelsea on this occasion. Fascinating to note, isn't it? Neil Sean in the very heart of London.